know nothing. She's jumping on my dick. I know she like it 'cause she
Author's POV at evening. Jimin came home from his work and sat on the sofa before resting his back and closed his eyes as he was tired. Your coffee? He heard someone's sweet voice, knowing whose voice is this. He opened his eyes and looked at the person and then looked at the coffee mug. What are you doing here? He asked, and you frown your brows as you don't like what he asks you. What? Can't I come here? Where is Somi? He asked while taking the coffee mug before tasting it. How is the coffee? You asked, hoping he faced you, but like always he didn't say anything. You felt sad but didn't show up. Oppa, how was your mission? He nodded before removing his coat, and there was a wound near his upper chest. As he looked at the wound, you gasp as you can't see him in pain because you love him from the start. How did you get this? Somi sent a first aid box in my room, he said, and was about to go but stopped as Somi said something. Wait, Oppa, you can take Vian's help. She's an expert in treating wounds. No, I can manage, he said with a cool face, but you felt pain inside. No, Oppa, I'll complain to Mom and Dad and tell them you are injured. She brought the first aid box and you went behind him. You went in his room and saw him sitting on the bed. You went near him before placing the first aid box and sitting on the bed beside him. You looked at the wound and started to open the few buttons of his shirt. Why didn't you be careful? He looked at you where you blew his wound so that he won't feel pain. He can see the tears in your eyes for him. Why are you crying? He asked. Because you are in pain, you said without realizing. Why don't you leave this work? Never, he said and fixed his shirt. You moved away as he again got angry because of your same question, which you always asked him. Chaman, why do you always behave like this? Can't you see love in my eyes, my love, which is only for you? You said, and tears rolled down from your eyes. 5 times, fucking 5 times I have proposed to you, but you always rejected me. Why? You said as you got emotional. You left his room not knowing there was someone who was listening to you both. I again messed up. How do I make you understand, man? Timescape. You came to his room to call him for dinner. You entered inside the room before knocking because he didn't open the door. Jimin, you called him while looking around. You called him, and in the meantime, he came out from the washroom as he was taking a shower. You looked at him, and he was standing there with only in his sweatpants, where he was wiping his hair with a towel. You looked at him with your wide eyes, as this is the first time you see him like. He was looking at you, and suddenly you turned your face to the other side as you got embarrassed. He comes closer to you and stand in front of you. You closed your eyes as you were feeling shy. You put your hand on your face as you become red and don't want to show him that you are blushing. He put his hand near your chin and made you look at him and whispered something. Open your eyes, he whispered. You fisted your dress in your hands before opening your eyes. What are you doing here? I came to call you for dinner. You said while looking at his face, which was so close to you. Don't you know it's wrong to break into someone's room without his permission? He asked. You suddenly put your hand on his chest before pushing him a little to make distance as he was close to you, and said, "And don't you know it's wrong to play with someone's feeling?" "I'm not playing with anyone." "Yes, you are playing. You are playing with me. You are playing with my heart. You are playing with my love. Why don't you understand, Jimin? I love you." "Then what's wrong with this?" "How many times do I have to tell you that you don't love me, right?" You stop him in the middle and said with a sad chuckle, "Then what, huh? Just say it clearly if you don't love me. Just tell me what the problem is. I'm not beautiful. I'm not your type. Hmm? You asked him while holding his arms and tried to get your answer. Why, look at your hand." He chuckled sadly and said, "Do you care for me?" "Of course I do," he said, and held your hand before making you sit on the bed and looked at your wound. "How can you be so careless?" He was dressing a wound, and you looked at his face that clearly shows care for you. "Swami is calling you for dinner," you said, and went from there. As you came out of the room, you saw Swami was standing there while looking at you. You were about to ignore her, but she held your hand and took you in a room and asked you about the matter. "Will you tell me what's going on between you two?" You look down cause you hide this from Swami that you love her brother. "Why? I asked you something." I, I'm sorry, Swami," you say while crying. "Do you love Uppa?" she asked, and you looked at him with your wide eyes before nodded in yes. She looks at you before being serious, which made you scared, but suddenly she laughed and you got confused. "Why are you laughing, Somi?" you asked. "Because you are going to be my sister-in-law, didn't you? By the way, why you hide it from me?" "No, no, he doesn't love me," you said, being sad. "Who said?" "He himself rejected me 5 times." "So you thought that he doesn't love you? I have known my brother since childhood, rather than you, Ryan. Trust me, he loves you, but isn't ready to accept it." "Seriously?" you asked, and she nodded. "Then how would we make him confess about his feelings?" "I have an idea. You have to marry Ryan." Huh? How? How? I mean, he didn't even want to confess his feeling. Then why would he marry me? You asked as you were confused. Tougher. Who said you were going to marry him, huh? Then whom are you talking about? I already telling you, Somi, I only love him. You said as I didn't understand her. Oh, calm down. No one is going to take your love. Later she tell you about her plan and you also understand her. But don't know why you were scared a little. Timescape after 2 weeks at Jimin's house. You and Somi were sitting on the couch and suddenly Jimin came home from his work. Then Somi winked at you. Juan, will you bring water for Oppa? Yeah, it's okay. There is no need for water. Okay, Juan, then bring us coffee. She said, and Jimin looked at Somi with a done expression. You went before nodded. Somi, here is your coffee. He looked at Jimin and said, Jimin, yeah, here, this is for you. You said and gave him the coffee with your hands, and he looked at something while feeling strange, and there was a ring in your ring finger. He took the coffee before sipping it, and his mind was still stuck on the ring cause he clearly remembers that there was no ring in your finger. He was fighting with his thoughts as the ring is a couple ring. Then finally he asked, Juan, come here. He called you and you looked at Somi before going towards him. Then suddenly he held your wrist and looked at the ring of the finger and asked, What is this in your hand? He asked and he looked at Somi. A ring, huh? He asked while looking at you insanely. Don't know why, but you felt scared by his gaze as he was looking angry. Before you could answer, then suddenly Somi said, Oh, yes, Oppa. I forgot to tell you, Vine is in a relationship. That ring is given by her boyfriend. Couple things, you know. She said more, and you were trying to stop her, but he already lost his control. He pressed your hands, and you felt pain. Jimin, what are you doing? It's hurting. He was looking at you being angry, and his eyes clearly showed the emotion inside him. He lastly looked at the ring and then at you before leaving. Somi, I think it's gone wrong. He's angry. You said and you were scared and can't betray him. Oh, come on, Ryan. It's just the beginning. He wasn't angry. He's jealous. You said while smirking. The next day, he looked around to find you, but you were nowhere to be seen. He felt annoyed because he already wasn't able to sleep at night because of you. So, me didn't Ryan come today? Ah, no, Pearl. She went on a date with her boyfriend. She said while trying to hide her smile as she was lying. What the? He became angry and started to leave. Opa, where are you going? Opa, listen. I was lying. She is at her home. She said the last line in a low voice. I'm sorry, Ryan, but you don't know about the anger issues of my brother. There is a punishment for you too for hiding the truth from me. She said to herself while smirking. There was a towel wrapped around your body and didn't look around. And directly went to the mirror to wipe your wet hair. But as you turn around and see the unexpected person who was sitting on the bed, where he was looking at you from head to toe while poking his inner cheek. Jimin, you said in a low voice cause you were shocked. He said and winked at you, and your cheeks turned red. By the way, I have never imagined you could look so hot in this towel. He said, and suddenly you remember you are only in a towel. You put your hand on your chest and said, Jimin, what are you doing here? Get out. He chuckled. No. He said before walking towards you. He said, and suddenly you remember you are. You moved back as he came towards you, and your face was red. Jimin, what are you doing here? You asked, and he chuckled before moving his face closer to you and smelled your fragrance and touched your wet hair. You're looking stunning. Trust me, babe. You put your hand on his chest to stop him, but suddenly his gaze went towards the ring of your finger, and he lost his mind. He held your wrist and said, Oh yeah, you're going on a date for your fucking... Didn't you? What are you saying? You said as you don't understand. You said you love me, Then how can you be... He shouted, and you felt scared because he was serious. Jimin, listen. What, You said you love me, then what is this, huh? He said while looking at the ring, and then suddenly he removed the ring from your finger and threw it somewhere in the room. Jimin, what's wrong with you, Yes, I love you, but what you did in return, Always rejected me. What can I expect from you? And why it's bothering you if I have someone in my life, Shut up. No, today I won't. You always control me. Even my heart is only asking for you, but you never understand my feelings. You're heartless. I can't believe that I fell for you. Please. You shout at him and cry. He felt sad the way you broke completely. Then suddenly he hugged you, but you hit his chest. But he didn't leave you. Do you really think I have someone in my life, huh? No. I only love you. You are the one and only person in my heart. You said while hitting his chest with your hands and crying silently. Why? Why? He said while holding you and tried to comfort you. Then suddenly he cupped your face and said in a soft voice, I'm sorry. He said, and without even giving you time, suddenly kissed your lips. Your eyes got wide by his unexpected action. He deepened the kiss as you didn't. But later you felt difficulty in breath, so you hit his chest, and he parted away and looked at your face. You touched your lips and looked at him with a shocked expression. Words were not coming out of your mouth. I love you, he said while holding your hand and kissed them. Then later, he took out a ring from his pocket and made you wear it before kneeling down, and you felt like it's all a dream. Will you be mine? he asked while looking at you, and you felt yourself in the ninth cloud and nodded while smiling and hugged him tightly. He also hugged you and snuggled in your neck as you were still in a towel. But then suddenly he said something made you blush. By the way, you look so. He said in a teasing way, and then you remember you are still in the towel. Your face became red. You pushed him before hiding himself from the bedsheet, and he chuckled at you. Chama looked at you and smoked before walking towards you and said, "Do you really think you can save yourself from me on our first wedding night, baby girl?" He asked, and you got shocked. What? You even thought about a wedding? Not the wedding. I even thought about our future kids, baby girl. I want 5 kids. He said, slowly approaching you. What? For kids? Are you serious? You were about to run towards the washroom, but suddenly he held you and pinned you on the bed before hovering over you. Where are you running, baby? He asked while smoking. I, I have to wear my clothes. You said. There's no need. Jimin, can I ask you something? He nodded. Do, do you really love me? Any doubt? No, I mean, then why did you reject me 5 times? He chuckled before answering. Jimin, it's because I'm scared for you. I'm a mafia and every second my life is in danger and I can't see you. That's why I was avoiding you. The end.